Welcome to All Things Greater Burlington, where you will hear from the movers, shakers, and changemakers that are moving Greater Burlington forward. Here is your host, Stephen Brody.
Welcome to All Things Greater Burlington. The Carl A. Nelson and Company works in several construction market segments, delivering projects primarily for industrial, healthcare, education, and recreation customers. They perform work in civic and community construction, commercial and office construction, power plant construction, laboratory construction, and water treatment and wastewater treatment construction. They also design and build pre-engineered metal buildings for clients in a variety of construction markets, and they are based right here in Burlington. It is a pleasure to have with us today Tim Seibert, President, and Dan Culp, Director of Business Development for Carl A. Nelson and Company. Gentlemen, thank you for being with us today.
Glad to be here.
Thank you for having us.
We thank you very much for all that you do in the Burlington area and all the projects that has been going on and what's going on. We'll get to that in a moment. Can you give us all a little more background about the history of Carl A. Nelson, how long they've been around, and maybe who is Carl A. Nelson?
So Carl A. Started the company in 1913, and Carl was a carpenter. He was a furniture builder. He worked for, I think, Leopold Desk here in town, built desks before he started his company. Mm-hmm. And started in 1913. Actually, one of the altars started with him then, and we have descendants of him still with the company today.
Oh, great.
And one project manager, and a superintendent that work with us still. But Carl A. started the company, built a lot of homes in Burlington initially, but then eventually moved to commercial construction. But Carl died in 1948, had no family in the business. It was a family company, sole proprietorship until 1948. He died. The company became pretty much employee-owned and has been pretty much since, which is pretty unique and before its time, really, as far as employee ownership. But anyway, he was an immigrant from Sweden and immigrated to the United States and to Burlington. And I don't know the backstory as to why he ended up in Burlington, but yeah, we're still here.
And I mean, not many businesses are over 100 years old. So testament to the longevity and to the reputation of the company to be around so long.
It is. And it's just amazing. There was a person that had the company, he may have done some building before he actually formed his company, because there was a barn built and somebody called me and had a picture of a plaque in the barn. I think it was 1910 that had his name on it. So Carl A. built a barn at that time, but built a lot of projects around. When they redid the Capitol Theater down here, we had the original drawings for that job. That was a Carl A. Nelson job.
Wow, very good.
I went to give a awards presentation at the Hamilton High School here a few years ago for one of our scholarships from our foundation. And I walked in the building, there's a bronze plaque there. It said the building was built by Carl A. Nelson.
Isn't that
so
nice?
You run into that everywhere.
That's great.
So,
how far would you say your territory is? How far do you go out and do projects?
We've worked in, I believe, over 20 states.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're registered to work in, I think, 22 states now. But we primarily go with our customers. So when we do projects, we've been to Idaho, we went to Colorado, we've been to North Carolina, New York State, Alabama, about every state between those.
How do they find you? I mean, if you're domiciled in Iowa, right?
We are.
So how do people find you then for you to then go out to those other states?
Either it's clients we've worked for in the tri-state region here, or it's referrals from other people.
Yeah.
And that's actually over 80% of our business is repeat customers and referrals from people who have used us.
And so then when you do a job in another state, for example, how does that work out? Do you then subcontract work from people that are out in that state? I can't imagine you're sending a lot of people out from Burlington.
Both.
Yes. You do?
We do, and we have a lot of people that go to those projects. Certainly the leadership goes there, the field supervisors for sure, and then a lot of our craftsmen travel. in fact, a lot of them don't live here. For instance, we have craftsmen that live in Indiana. We have supervisors that live all over the 3-state regions, so they don't all live here.
Yeah.
Even though this is our home base, we do have another office in Cedar Falls, Iowa.
Okay.
And then we have an office inside the Grain Processing Corporation plant in Muscatine,
Okay.
which has been there a long time.
So as of now, Dan, how large a company would you say that you have right now in terms of staff, employees?
I think from a staff standpoint, we're just over 100 people, I believe. We have about 8 or 9 people in our Cedar Falls office. It's mostly project managers and their assistant.
Yeah.
Our office here in Burlington really takes care of all the back office that we do. So we have accounting staff and management staff here for our projects.
Are you at a good staffing level right now, or are you in need of more?
I say we're pretty good. We're at a pretty good staffing level.
Although we're always looking for good people, and that's really what we do is we find good people, we hire them. And really our growth has been limited by our ability to find the kind of people that we want.
Sure.
And but we're down a little bit. I mean, we've historically been, 130, 140. So we are down a little bit.
So there's some capacity still.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
It's the lack of skilled trades out there. It's not just us, it's the whole industry. And I say our industry is short 30% workforce, probably.
Yeah.
And you see that across all businesses in our industry.
Is there anything that you try to do in the schools in terms of trying to attract talent?
Yeah, we're working with a lot of the area high schools. They have programs, and we're trying to assist them in those programs. We also have a skills challenge that we hold at our office here in Burlington for some of the area high schools, and they come in and perform in that skills challenge, and it's pretty interesting to watch that happen. And they're excited about having that ability to compete with each other.
Yeah.
Who's got the better craftsman. But it's really good to see the students have a desire to be in the trades.
Is that at the high school level, or is it even younger than that?
High school level.
It's high school,
Okay.
yeah.
It's interesting because when I was in Des Moines recently, we had our Southeast Iowa days, and there were students that were talking about challenges and stuff, and they were saying that with workforce, they would love to be able to apprentice. They would love to get into different businesses and see what's going on. But they actually threw out that instead of waiting until high school, they would almost prefer even 8th grade to be able to start that process of getting able to get into some businesses and take a look at what it is, and then they can see for themselves, is this a profession that I'd like to go into or not?
Mm-hmm. It's a good, I think people are starting to realize that not everybody learns in the same manner, and there's a lot of people that learn by doing, and so I think people are realizing that, and they're starting to go into the trades because it's, you don't end up with a bunch of debt, and we train. So we'll take people out of high school. We've done that for a long time.
Yeah.
And give them the training that they need to be successful.
Yeah.
So
why do you think it's important for a company like yours to be a community partner, let's say, to not only just be focused in the role that you do, but also to give of yourself to the community?
Well, we live here, right? I mean, even though I say some of our employees don't live here, most do.
Mm-hmm.
And majority of our employees live in Des Moines County. So this is where we live, and so we need to be involved in the community. The dome, the Fun City Dome out there that we built, originally that, was going to be built in the old Raider facility. And I think one of the ways we can contribute to our community is by helping guide projects to success. And that was one, that was going to be a soccer facility inside that old Raider manufacturing building. We got the contract to do that. And we said, why would you spend your money this way? And really recommended that they go to this dome concept, and really got them to do that. And really was much better for the community. So, and we're working on the Burlington High School right now, and just effective services can make the project successful, spend the money wisely, and that's a big contribution to the community, and we take that with a lot of pride.
I think another aspect of that is our involvement in the community also, it helps us because, as we become more visible to young people, they understand what we do for a living. They may have some interest in what we're doing. For us being involved in the community, that helps us to attract people to our business.
Yeah, and we appreciate the partnership that you have with us as well, participating in the golf tournament and other activities that we have throughout the year. So we're grateful. We always enjoy having those business partnerships. Well, let's talk about the high school. You brought that up, Tim. That is a major project that's going on right now. So how long has that been going on, and what exactly is being involved with that?
So we've been working on that project for almost 2 years now, doing planning. There's 2 phases to the project. The first phase is about half done, and that is what's called the ESSER project. It was the COVID federal money that the school district got to spend on the building to improve air quality in the building. So that project's underway. That's about a $9 million project. And then now there's another project that was just led here about a month ago, and that's for the rest of this project, and we're going to renovate pretty much the rest of the high school.
No kidding.
Yes, so in total, they're going to invest $43 million in that high school.
Oh my goodness.
So it's a pretty significant job and an important job for our community. Our schools are very modern here with the exception of the high school.
Yeah.
All the other schools were fewer and better, and all that work's been done.
Yeah.
But the high school has had very little investment in that high school since it was built, and it's over 50 years old.
When you say renovations, what are we talking about?
So the academic areas of the building will be gutted and completely redone. Now that's a challenge because we got to keep operating the high school.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't stop.
Yeah.
And so we have a pretty sophisticated phase approach to this project. So when we're working during the school year, we'll be working in the evenings to get off of shift with the students. And there's 7 major phases to that project. It'll take until the fall of 2025 to actually complete the project.
Yeah.
But it'll start in April of this year.
And is this are the renovations being done and keeping the structure as is? So this is just internal renovations?
It's the shell of it. We're keeping the shell of the building, yes. But like, for instance, all of the exterior windows in the building are being replaced as a part of this project.
Okay.
Now that the brick and the precast facades are going to be cleaned and repaired, but will be maintained. So generally, the footprint of the building is not getting much bigger. We're building a fitness addition because the weight rooms got consumed by some mechanical space that we needed to put in there. And then we're going to enclose the link between the main building and the industrial arts building. And they want to get that connection to be much closer, where the industrial arts programs are not separate in another building, but part of the school. So they're going to be an enclosed link so you can get in there to be heated and cooled and really connect those 2 buildings on the school campus.
And you said this has been going on for 2 years already.
Almost 2 years of planning.
2 years already and about another 2 to go.
Yes.
Oh my.
Yeah, 2.5 to go, really. So it's a long project, but a very important project. And the reason it's so long is that, like I said, we got to keep the school running.
Sure.
And so there's a pretty sophisticated plan that we've developed with the school and how they operate the school and how we're going to keep the school running with, portions of it out of commission for construction.
When you get to summertime, are there certain things that you're able to accelerate then?
Yeah. Some of the work has to be done in summers, others not. So yes, the summers are very intensive here for the next, particularly 23 and 24.
Yeah.
Those summers are going to be absolutely huge at the high school.
I would imagine with a huge project like that, there had to have been a competitive bid process. And I don't know, how long did that actually take before you were awarded the project?
All right. So we're a construction manager on this project. So we're providing management services to the school district.
Okay.
So we were selected on a qualification-based selection because what we're providing for this project is professional services.
Gotcha.
The actual construction is all bid out competitively.
Okay.
And so that occurred in the 2 packages were bid out in 2 lumps. So last February of 22, we bid the first phase out in 4 different packages. And we bid the second phase out here about a month ago, and it is in 13 packages.
Okay.
So those were all competitively bid and competitively awarded.
So in your capacity, how hands-on are you? I mean, is this a day-to-day thing that you're on with the school, or is it only when somebody contacts you and needs consultation?
No, it's full-time. Yeah. And we have supervision on the site every day. And we have representatives on site anytime work is taking place.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of pre-construction services with this where we help budgeting, help review designs, look at cost-effective solutions, and there's been a lot of that. And all the phasing and the planning and all that work was done pre-bid so that the bidders had an idea what was the situation going to be that they were going to operate within.
Yeah.
So
We operate as a construction manager in public projects like this. Tim said as a construction manager, agent to the owner,
Yeah.
where we can provide that service, that professional service they can depend on during the project, and then bid the project out for the construction portions of it. But we do this for a lot of school districts. I think we've worked for probably over 20 school districts providing the same kind of service. So when it came to the selection, it was really based on our qualifications in providing this service in the past.
Yeah, I was going to ask actually, in all the years that you've been around, have you kind of carved out a niche where you're known for in one particular industry or segment? And so is it schools or is it something else?
about 3 or 4 different areas. So one would be K through 12 schools. We deliver with construction management services. Now we do deliver under a lot of different types of delivery methods, but in the K through 12 school market, we deliver through a construction management method. We found that to be the most effective for our clients.
Yeah.
In the industrial realm, most of our work is design build, where we're providing turnkey services, both design and construction. We do a lot of medical work, and in fact, we've built a lot of everything that's at Great River Medical Center, which is now Southeastern Medical Center, Southeast Iowa Medical Center. And we do a lot of clinic work. We're doing a clinic for community health right now in Keokuk. We build all the community health stuff out here. We currently have a community health, People's Community Health in Waterloo underway right now.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of small hospital clinic work in the medical sector.
Yeah.
And then the third sector is really recreation. So that's YMCA's. It's like the dome out here.
Yeah.
We're getting ready to do the second phase of the YMCA in Washington, Iowa. We're going to build an indoor pool in that facility starting this summer.
So you've got a great inventory, a nice diverse array of expertise in different areas.
Yeah, pretty specific though. It's medical, it's K through 12 schools, industrial, and then recreation.
Yeah.
And we don't do much outside those lanes. Some, but not a lot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then you're also working on another project here in town that's involved with bringing Western Smokehouse, which is going to be a great employer here. They're going to be bringing, I think, 150 employees to the greater Burlington area. Talk about what you're doing with them.
So we're renovating the old Dresser-ran Siemens building into a specialty meat processing facility. Very interesting project. The project was actually referred to us by an electrical subcontractor. So it's another referral, but it was a referral from a sub that we worked with in Illinois, and they referred them to us, and we built the job for them. So we do a lot of food processing work, and not specifically in Burlington, but all over the tri-state area.
Yeah.
And so that's a pretty significant expertise of ours, and this job fit right in our wheelhouse, and they wanted it fast. So, and we're able to put a lot of resources on this project. We had over 30 of our direct hire employees on this project at one time, plus probably about that many subs.
Yeah.
So, and it's a very fast moving project because they need to get to market with this facility, and I think you know that. And,
oh yeah.
And so we're really building this under a very accelerated schedule.
Yeah, I have people tell me all the time when they see me in the public, how many people are out there at that building? Because when you drive by during the day, it looks like a parking lot for every subcontractor in town. And we have quite a few Carl A. Nelson trucks out there because we have a lot of supervision to keep that thing going as fast as it's going. But it has been a good project.
Yeah. Obvious questions. When we were dealing with the pandemic, how did that affect you at all? Or did it affect you at all?
Some jobs got shut down. Others got accelerated. We got letters from several clients saying, it's mandatory that you do not shut our jobs down, that we're considered an essential service. And so we had some jobs get shut down. We had others that got accelerated. So, and that was true in a lot of our industrial clients, really accelerated projects that needed to get done. So actually, we didn't see that much downturn in our business. Our office never shut down. Some of us got COVID like everybody else, but we lived through it and kept the business operating.
Right.
So we really didn't see as much downside as we thought we might. But a lot of our jobs are considered essential and had to keep going.
Yeah. And then how about any challenges having to do with supply chain or inventory?
That's definitely been a challenge. And for every project, it's getting better though, I think.
It is getting better. We planned some of that into the Burlington High School. We're replacing the electric service in that building, which is 3,000 amps, really big electric gear. So we've got that planned to be done in the summer of 24, and that gear is being ordered. It's been ordered right now, so that we'll have that by the summer of 24. So some of the work got planned to anticipate some of the delivery challenges that were out there.
Yeah,
and we've had to change even material that we've used on projects just to keep the projects on schedule and still provide the type of building that they wanted. But in some cases, bar joist or deck, metal deck was not available, and we've changed to other materials. And we were pretty quick to recognize some issues and made some changes on projects that kept those projects on target. And
I think we've been able to work around most of the issues and meet our clients' needs as far as schedule.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to be, plan A, B, and C, and figure out a way. But where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
Dan, how much of a challenge has it been, director of business development, when things like this pop up and you have to pivot and try to find maybe some alternatives?
Well, there have been some issues. I would say, during the pandemic, it was a little more difficult because nobody wanted to meet. A lot of offices were closed, or a lot of changes have happened over that last 2 years.
Sure.
You used to be able to go to a lot of businesses and go to the front door, and somebody was answering the front door, and that doesn't happen as much anymore. A lot of times you have to have an appointment ahead of time before you can even get to, in the front door. So there have been a lot of changes that have happened.
When it's hard to sell construction services if you're not face to face, right? I mean, this is very much a personal relationship business, and it's hard to develop those personal relationships and then that you need for these projects when you're not face to face.
Yeah. Are you established enough in the industry where most of the business people are coming to you, or are you seeking things out?
We got to tell our story. That's, I think, true of every business. And one reason why Craig's with us is that we've got a good story to tell. Not sure we've always put enough energy into telling that story.
Yeah.
And, we're doing some amazing things. But if you don't tell people about it, they don't know about it. And we don't need for everybody to know, but the right people need to know. And so you got to get your story out there.
Yeah.
And I think we're doing a better and better job of doing that. For a long time, we were very much unknown in the Burlington, Des Moines County area. I think we were working everywhere else and no one even knew what we were doing. And so we're trying to do a better job of that. And we're using social media now that we never did before.
Yeah.
And really, telling the story of what we're doing and what our culture is and what we're about. And I think it's attractive to people.
What other types of outreach opportunities are there? I mean, with what you do, are there such things as trade shows or conferences that you go to let people know about you?
Yeah, we attend quite a few trade shows in a year, sponsor several different types of trade shows or conferences. I just last week, I was at a critical access hospital conference as a sponsor and attendee, and I was at the Iowa School Business Officials Conference as a trade show exhibitor. So we do that quite a bit for the markets that we're in, that we're looking to get more traction in.
We do a fair amount of training at some of these conferences too. There's some very industry specific things that we do training on. One of our licensed architects and I did a presentation at the AIA conference, which is the architecturals conference on code compliance in industrial facilities. So that's one thing we've done. Dan, I know, has done many presentations on project delivery methods. It's confusing to people, and how projects are delivered. How do you compare one delivery method to another, and what might be the reasons why you would choose one or another in different situations? The state now has changed the procurement rules for public projects, and now CM at risk is an available delivery method. We've done presentations on the benefits, the detriments, what's the strengths and weaknesses of the delivery methods, and when and why you might choose one over another. We deliver construction services under all the delivery methods, and so we're pretty familiar with what works and what doesn't work and what situations might it work better.
Well, I think that's excellent that you also provide that service as well. You provide training on top of it, and so that's something I'm sure Craig. Mike's not in front of you, but that's obviously an outreach that you're doing is to try and get that message out, right?
Excuse me. I'd say that the role from a marketing standpoint is to be where the eyes are, and try to, whether it's at a trade show or in a Facebook post or on our website, and just try to drive that traffic back so someone can become aware of the services we do provide, the range of those in the markets where we work, to be able to say, hey, these might be the right people. We've had contacts from our website from as far away as California and Massachusetts within the last year, asking us about doing projects for them, so we're seeing that kind of reach, and those kind of opportunities come through the door.
Tim talks about having to tell the story. So is there something about the company, that the business, that you need to get out more that people don't know about?
Oh, I'd say that and Dan touched on this is just, and Tim did too, the notion of local presence and people maybe not because of the markets we do work in. We're working in large industrial, and we're working kind of all over the countryside, but we're here too, and growing that sort of local audience is certainly an aim, but also to maintain with 80% of our business coming from return and referred clients. As much as anything, our marketing is to them, to sort of stay front of mind for them and resell ourselves to them, as they continue to look at new projects and new opportunities.
Yeah.
When as is true in all marketing, you can't tell a story that's not true. The marketplace figures that out, and so I say our best marketing tool is a well executed project, and when people experience that, they tell 5 other people about it, and that's really the crux of, to me, the crux of marketing is you got to execute, you got to deliver good services, and you got to have people talk about it.
Yeah.
And if you're telling a story that's not true, or you can't back up with performance, it doesn't take the marketplace very long to figure that out.
Right. Well, if you could forecast, are you hearing like what the market's going to be looking like in the next couple of years? Are things going to continue to stay busy for you guys or pick up at all?
I'd say just reading the national news and that I would be very pessimistic, but I see none of that in our business. Our pipeline is very robust, and it looks like we're going to be busy for as long as we can be. Now our work doesn't book out too far. We can see a couple years in advance. Beyond that, we don't have a lot of visibility on the economy, which, construction is directly related to the economy, but there's a lot of money out there for school projects in Iowa. There's federal money out there. They're going to do a lot of work at the plant out of here. So there's stuff out there, and we don't hear any slowdown from our customers.
Very good.
I think in general, we're hearing that both from the marketplace and from even some of our competitors that we talk to. You know, they're saying the same thing. They're not seeing that slowdown. So in the next year or so, I think it's going to stay pretty robust.
Great. Well, unfortunately, we're out of time, but Dan and Tim and Craig, thank you so much for coming and telling the Carl A. Nelson story and for sharing all things, that you are doing here in the community. And we just appreciate your presence and your partnership. And here's to another 100 years in the area. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We appreciate you being with us. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and give us a call at the Greater Burlington Partnership and let us know if there's any one or company in particular that you would like us to interview. Until then, thanks so much, and we'll see you next time on All Things Greater Burlington.
You have been listening to All Things Greater Burlington with Stephen Brody. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to catch all new episodes. To learn more about All Things Greater Burlington, visit greaterburlington.com/ATGB.